Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start. So I want to say hello, everyone. I hope y'all doing amazing, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Iris, and I'm a sociology and psychology double major, and I'm also one of the PAAs for the School of Social Sciences. I am also a transfer student, just like you. I transferred from Santa Ana College, and I'm a fifth year student. So again, welcome to our PAA Q&A panel. During this panel, students will have the opportunity to ask questions. It can be about anything, for example, how remote classes work, clubs, remote learning, even course insight when applicable. This webinar will consist of first, introduction, brief degree check, panel questions that we have prepared for you, and lastly, we are answering questions coming from you. If you do have any questions, please feel free to write it on the question and answer chat box, as we will use the general chat box for useful links and information. Please do not write your questions in the general chat box, as that is reserved for campus links and resources. We'll be answering your questions out loud on a rolling basis, so don't worry. We will get to you when we come to the last portion of the Q&A. Also, just a quick disclaimer. Unfortunately, we are not able to answer questions regarding your housing application status or financial aid, since that is out of our expertise. However, we will try to answer to the best of our knowledge and refer you to a link for further assistance. This session will last about an hour and 30 minutes. So we hope that you stay since we will be answering your questions towards the end. So before we begin, I would like to explain what a peer academic advisor is. A PAA is also a student just like you. We go through a quarter-long training session to help students with scheduling classes, learning about majors and minors, general academic questions and academic resources, and even about general UCI life. So today we have 8 PAs with us, including myself, who will now be introducing themselves. So we'll have Catherine. Go ahead and go first.
Hi everyone, my name is Catherine. I am a fourth year psychology and sociology double, and I'm happy to be here with you all today.
Hi everyone, I'm Christine. I'm going to be a fourth year, and I'm a double major in psychology and political science. We can't see your guys' faces, but we're happy to have you.
Hi, I'm Christy. I'm going to be a third year doubling in social policy and public service and education, and welcome to UCI.
Hi everyone, my name is Marimar. I'm going to be a fifth year and I'm a double major in international studies and public health policy. I'm very happy to be here with you all today.
Hi everyone, I'm Olivia. I'm a third year student. I'm double majoring in economics and data science. Welcome to our session.
Hi everyone, my name is Sam and I'm a third year majoring in business economics and minoring in art history. Welcome to UCI.
Hi guys, I'm Waylon. I'm a senior and I'm a psychology major. So glad you guys are here today.
Thank you so much for those introductions, lovely PAAs. Now we're gonna go ahead to the degree check. So now we will go briefly over our sociology degree check. Just give me a few moments to share my screen. Second. Okay. Okay. Are you guys able to see my degree check? Okay. Awesome. Okay. So. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so here, as you can see, is the sociology degree check. And on the left-hand side, you see the student name, of course, your ID number, that's pretty basic. You'll see the UC intro level writing. And you'll see here on category 1, you'll see the writing, the science and technology, social and behavioral sciences, and so on. You'll see that some of you will have the IGETC or partial IGETC. and it'll be demonstrated on the boxes. Also, you would see the category 5, I'm sorry, math, and you'll see here that usually when you transfer, if you haven't taken any other math courses, you'll see that you'll take either the stat series, which is 10A, 10B, or 10C, which is normally the route most transfer students take, or you'll take the calculus route, which most of you have already transferred with stat 7. It just varies on student, but you'll see that most of the students take this route. And in the red, F20 would indicate fall 20 for the upcoming projected academic quarter. So it would be fall 20 for the student here, the hypothetical student. It would say fall 20, and then you'll take the whole series, the 3 series long, the whole academic year. And then you'll go to category 6, and you'll see again if it's satisfied by the GETSI, and so on down to the bottom. You'll see that 3 things are usually not covered when you transfer. You'll see the upper division writing, which is up here. You would have to take that at UCI, and it would go under this line here. And the School of Social Science, Computer and Technology requirement, the SOCI 3A or ICS 31. Normally, also students would mostly take the SOCI 3A, and that would go here. And then the American history portion in the middle, you'll see that, for example, here, if you see a star and a 1, it would show you that this course it was taken at another institution, for example, a community college in most cases, and the equivalence of that would be here, Source 1 at UCI. And then here in the middle, you would see that you're required to take sociology methods and theory. This is usually recommended to take your first transfer year if you're going to take other courses that may require you to have these prerequisites. So be mindful of that. And then you'll have to take this before number 12, because this requires the prerequisite of Source 110, the source research methods. This would be a sociology required seminar. And then down to number 13, you would see again the stars. That would mean 10. That would be in another institution, and then the equivalence would be 62 here at UCI, and then LD and UD would be the codes for lower division and upper division. And then so on here, you would see again the projected courses in red. For example, here, Sociology 151, you'll see that it's social inequality and health for fall 20. And here, another quick, fast, useful link would be what LD and UD mean, and then all those courses in the 9 are special topics, useful information that you should look into. And then over here, you would need 3 additional School of Social Sciences courses. Again, you see here that this student took Psych 1 at another institution, which is equivalent to 7A, a lower division course, and they would have to take 2 upper division School of Social Science courses. And then here in the star, it would indicate what courses are included in the School of Social Sciences, so it can be here. In the star, again, important information that you should consider. The Sociology Department offers 4 departmental certificates, which is really useful to also look into, and it gives you all the information down there. And then so on down to the bottom, you know that the minimum units required are 180, and then it would indicate on this boxes like the completed and the progress, and so on. So first of all, I would like to mention that the information in your transfer degree checks are being processed by the admissions office and the registrar's office, which will take some time. Everything should be updated by week 6 of fall quarter. Your patience is greatly appreciated. As you can see in these IGETI, the IGETI covers most of the DEs again, like I mentioned. So if you have a partial IGETI or a full IGETI, make sure to submit that, and we'll go ahead and process that on their end. and let's see, and I'll have that submitted in the links that I'm going to provide in the chat. Okay, so do any of my PAs would like to add anything informational to the degree check?
Yeah, can I just emphasize something for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
So really quickly, just because I've seen this before on when I checked everyone's schedules, this sometimes happens, but no worries. As long as you fix it, it's fine. So if you look at I think number 14, it says 3 additional School of Social Sciences courses. It'll say the asterisk Psych 1 equals 7A. That means for this student, they took Psych 1 at a community college, and they cannot take Psych 7A at UCI because that's the equivalent. It's like taking the class at UCI. If you like enroll as this student in Psych 7A, they're gonna be like, you already to have credit for this course, what are you doing? And you're probably gonna get your schedule all messed up. So just a warning, please be careful. And if something does seem familiar or you're not sure about something, please contact an academic advisor or a PAA just in case, because better to be safe than sorry.
So much, Waylon. That's very true. What we transfers have is to be mindful of like the courses that we already took in community college and make sure they're not equivalent to any here at UCI, because you don't want to take the same course twice. That would be really bad. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start the panel questions. Here we're gonna go. We have some questions prepared for our PAs to answer. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the first question. It says, how did you adapt at UCI as a transfer? How did you feel? What did you do? And how long did it take you to adjust? I would pass the mic to Waylon if you would want to go ahead and start first this time.
Okay, that's a first. Sure. So as a transfer for me, I actually transferred, if any of you are from Tustin. I was from Santiago Canyon College, woot woot. But for me, I thought it was going to be an easy transition because I'm like, I have an edge against the high schoolers because I've already known what the college life is like. I know how it's going to happen. I know how it's going to work, so on and so forth. I was kind of wrong. It was way more difficult than I thought. It was way harder to transition to because first off, campus is huge. Once we get back onto UCI, it's a huge campus, and I swear you're going to get lost once or twice, and you're going to be asking for directions or end up in the wrong classroom. Trust me, that has happened to me plenty of times. So in order to kind of help through that, I definitely recommend Google Maps and Zot Finder. That was it, Zot Finder. Plus, they show where all the bathrooms are, so if you really do need to go to the bathroom, it got you. Another thing was, honestly, academic-wise, the biggest struggle was, for most of you in community college, you go through a semester schedule, which is about 16 weeks. At UCI, it's a quarters schedule, which pretty much means you have 10 weeks. So I'm not being paid to say this, but please, for your first quarter, please take 12 to 14 units, or in other words, 3 classes. And that's because, again, you're transitioning to a whole new university, a whole new lifestyle, and a whole new pace. And the quarter system is going to be overwhelming at first. You're going to have maybe a midterm in the second week, depending on your classes. You're going to have everything super fast. You have papers flying everywhere. There's no time to procrastinate, or you'll be like left behind and your ship is going to sink. So I really suggest like taking your time to adjust into UCI. Make a planner, get yourself keep track of all the deadlines, keep track of all your midterms and your papers, so on and so forth. Make connections, do your best. For me, it took me about 2 quarters to really get into it and get like used to university life. But I definitely say if you really want to help yourself get involved, since, for us, we only have about 2 to 3 years at UCI, get involved, join a club, join an organization, do whatever, and just like make your experience the best.
Thank you, Waylon. You summed it up. It was like, that's how it was usually for me too. It was really overwhelming at first. But I definitely suggest that you guys get involved and try to make connections, even though we can't really do that right now because of the pandemic and virtual learning. But even in your Zoom meetings, try to like get someone's email or something, and create group chats and talks amongst each other about course things, life. I'm I'm pretty sure every other student is in the same boat. They're gonna actually like enjoy talking to you. I'm pretty sure of that. So yeah, I think Wailing summed it up pretty good. I adapted the same way as she did. It was pretty overwhelming at first, but I do suggest for you to get involved. Don't be scared. Everyone's so welcoming, even though you might feel they're not. It's a big campus. Get informed, get familiar with the campus, even though we're not there. Some of us are not there. Yeah, just do your best to kind of get involved. Trust me, you won't regret it. You'll thank us. You'll be like, thank you for telling me, because I got involved in my second year, so I'm here now taking an additional year because I felt like I wasn't getting enough of the UCI experience. So I'm grateful to stay a fifth year. I love UCI, but I mean, if I would have been a little bit more pushed at the beginning of my transfer year, I would have like probably enjoyed more than I have till this day. And I'm a peer academic advisor, so see, it's awesome to stay a fifth year. Thank you. And muted myself. So next question. It's how did you get involved on campus? What clubs, organizations are you in, and how can students get involved? I can, pass the mic to anybody else if they want to go first. No. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce my club that I'm in. Also, I barely joined this past year, and also I would have been so grateful if I would have known about it in my transfer year. It's called LSPA. It's called the Latinx Student Psychological Association, and it's a club here on campus that, in its name, it's psychological, but it's open to any major, and it emphasizes academics, research, community service, all the good stuff that you need to be a good to graduate in a good standing if you want to go to a grad school and build up a portfolio, a very what do you call it? A very interesting student applicant. This club is open to any major, like I mentioned. It emphasizes like mental health and academic family and all sorts of things. It's under the umbrella of Dr. C. She's one of the Associate Dean of Undergraduate Studies, so that's an amazing bonus. She's a great mentor, so I suggest you guys, check us out on Instagram, because that's our kind of like our platform to kind of inform of our future meetings that we'll be having. It's in the books. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let one of my fellow PAs mention their club.
The organization that I was in was ASCCI, which is kind of like our version of student government. ASB in high school, it's like the much bigger version because it's at college. And there's a lot of different branches to this organization. There's the Office of Student Services Vice President, which is what I was in. And we basically planned a lot of the on-campus events. But there's a lot of other sections of this organization, including the Senate. There's like the Office of the External President. There's just a lot of different positions that you can get involved in. And I actually found out about this position through email, just because a lot of the organizations and clubs on campus will send out emails when they're recruiting or they have open like intern positions. I did have to apply for this one. So definitely a little tip is check your emails regularly, because a lot of different clubs and organizations will be sending out emails when they want to recruit people.
So I'm going to go again. First off, how do you get involved? Well, first off, as I said, joining a club or organization would be great. Where can I find these clubs? Well, first off, usually we have this Anteater Involvement Fair, which it pretty much happens like every quarter, and we have just rows and booths of like all the clubs and organizations just lined up waiting for you to like show up and just talk to them and get information and find out their meeting times. Unfortunately, we can't do that right now at Aldrich Park, but I do know that there's going to be a virtual one. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to go, but I definitely think you should check it out. I'll also, or if one of my PAs want to do it, They can post also the link as to the over 600 clubs and organizations at UCI that you can totally check out, which you really should. There's at least one club that is like for you. Like there's too many. We got anime clubs. I'm pretty sure we have like a lot of sports teams as well. As for me, I'm in Tomonokai, which is a Japanese and Japanese American social cultural club, which pretty much appreciate Japanese culture. Doesn't matter if you're Japanese or not, just join our little family. Also part of the Anteater Anteater Student Audio Production Club, which is pretty much making music. How do you make music? The different software, mixing and mastering, so on and so forth. Hoping to be a board member this year. And I'll post both the links below. Last piece of advice before I hand it off to another PAA if they want to say something. But another way to really get in contact with these clubs, if you are interested, other than looking through the campus site that hopefully someone already posted the link to, is making a Facebook. I really emphasize making a Facebook because that is the best way to contact clubs, the leaders, and find out the meeting times. And yes, even though we're all online, we still have meetings and little game nights and so on and so forth. So definitely make a Facebook and check your emails.
I just want to say something real quick. So if you look in the chat, there's several links that I just included. The first one under the thing about ASUCI, that one is the one that has more information about the virtual Anteater Involvement Fair. So if you're kind of interested about that and how to work, definitely check out that link. And then the one under it is the campusorgs.uci.edu link. And that one will take you to a page that basically has access to all of these 600 and plus clubs that we have on campus. And you're able to kind of explore and kind of look at look up what sort of clubs you might be interested in, and all of their contact info is also included with their information. So if you want to reach out to them, you'll definitely be able to do that. So I definitely recommend that you check out that link.
Also, I know that Waylon mentioned it, but I do want to emphasize, creating a Facebook, just because when I came in as a freshman, I didn't make one till like my winter quarter. So it was like I missed out on all these cool like internship positions, the ones Sam mentioned, and just like these different types of internships that I could have done on campus. But since I didn't have a Facebook, I didn't know they were accepting applications. So I will definitely recommend making one before the maybe now even, just so you could be prepared and start working on those apps, start working on those resumes, just so you could already get into the interview process, and like in case that you need interviews, just so you could be involved if you want to, like that first quarter, start making those connections. Also, I did want to mention that I'm also aside from a PAA, I'm also a peer health educator at the UCI Center for Student Wellness and Health Promotion. And I wanted to bring this up just in case any of y'all are interested in like, health related positions, health education, promotion, advocacy. So we work on campus, we work on workshops, events, health fairs. We work in like campus outreach regarding like different types of health related topics. So we focus on like wellness, emotional well-being, which is like mental health. We focus on alcohol and other drugs, sexual health, and just like body positivity. Like we focus on all these ranges, so it literally has bits of everything in case you're even slightly interested. I'm sure applications will open probably the end of the quarter, so definitely keep an eye out for that. It's definitely very fulfilling, and I really love this position. So yeah, I'll put the link in the chat so you can learn more about it as well.
Anyone else want to share something about their club or more info? We're good? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move to the next question. That says, tell us about a campus resource that you recommend the most. What are the resources campus should be taking advantage of? I'm going to go ahead and start first. I would say that my recommended resource that transfer students should utilize ASAP would be SARC. It's the Social Science Academic Resource Center that it emphasizes like professional development, etiquette for emails, and graduate school. If you need to apply for graduate school, scholarships, academic internships, career positions, one-on-one consultations, resume and CV, cover letter critiques, a study space, computer and printing services, amongst many more. Yeah, I would totally take advantage of SARC, and I will put the link on the chat so you guys can check out their website and see more updates.
Okay, I swear. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I really want to emphasize SARC too because I'm not biased. I did intern at SARC last year before I was a PAA this year. So trust me when I say I know that there are so many resources there for you. I personally, as a student, have used it so often there too, just because in your coursework, it's definitely going to teach you a lot of skills, like writing skills, speaking skills, like experimenting skills, creative skills, all those things, even writing, so on and so forth. But it's not going to teach you how to really apply it to like the workforce or like somewhere that you're hoping to go to after you graduate from, undergrad. So in order to prepare for all those things, you have to like learn where to like do this stuff first. And I really think you should go to SARC because if you're looking for internships, SARC has a whole, internship database, like based on like psychology, business, health, like mental health, like legal field, like they have everything, like just a lot. And all those internships have, or most of them have at one point been used by a current or previous UCI student. So you can definitely be sure that they're open to at least responding or that they have worked with a student here at some point. Also, they also help you with like the interview process. Yes, even though everything's remote right now, they still do have online interviews, like if you're still wanting an internship or a job somewhere, because they have to get to know the person. So if you're not sure or you're nervous like how it's going to go, you can always do a mock interview by scheduling consultation with SARC. They also help you with the cover letter, CV, resume, everything Iris has already mentioned. They even help you find research, like how you should draft the email, like asking for like, oh, like, can I work at your lab or whatnot. I'm working on trying to go into law school after I graduate. So basically, I've been working on applications. I've been working on personal statements. I've been working on, trying to get the letter of recommendation. And every step of the way, SARC has been helping me. I've been like going to them every week. So yeah, it's really useful. Please utilize it. Like you're so special because SARC is only in the School of Social Sciences. So it's really like there for you guys and you guys only. Obviously other students can go there too, but it's made for you guys. So make sure you use it.
Thank you, Christine.
Okay, I'm gonna go this time. I swear this is like the last time I'll talk like for like 3 minutes straight. But I mean, I think I talked about as transfers, it's way more rushed just because we have about 2 to 3 years compared to the freshmen who have like 4 to 5 years. So it's way more, oh my gosh, my career, my resume, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna do all of this? How do I get my jobs? How do I get internships? So on and so forth. So I totally advocate the Division of Career Pathways. So they're the main source for career resources. They show job and internship postings, and they've shown they help with future occupations as well as help you, regain your career potential. They provide tools and support stuff, such as for me, I totally took advantage of the resume workshops and the mock interviews. Like, seriously, that saved me because I had no idea what I was going to do job-wise. I've never had like an actual job before other than like tutoring services, which I'm like, that's nothing. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. With them, I was able to get advice. I was able to do actual interviews where they would say questions that they'd probably ask me, and then I'd be like, oh, answer like this, and they're like, oh, okay, that's a great answer, but I would also recommend blank, blank, blank. And if I'm honest, they were the ones that introduced me into this position as a peer academic advisor. I didn't even know it was for students like me. I thought that the people that you're talking to right now were graduates. I didn't know it was for actual students. So, I mean, if it weren't for them, I wouldn't have this job. I wouldn't have an amazing resume, if I'm honest, and I wouldn't have been so prepared for the interview. So I definitely recommend checking them out. Make an appointment. They are available all the time. Just talk to them. They're great.
Anybody else want to share a resource that they're very familiar with? So, no? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next question. It's one of like the most, I believe, an important question. You recently experienced remote learning at UCI, which is on a quarter system. Tell us a bit about your experience and best advice. The remote experience, I believe it's something really new to all of us. So the insight onto this question is really, I believe, somewhat very important. I believe my experience with remote learning consisted of like I was overwhelmed, to be honest, at the beginning. I mean, I'm used to the online courses. Like I know how tedious and how like material like based out has more to do than actual in class courses are. But this time around, it was pretty like different because of the circumstances that were going on, outside of our control, and just adjusting to the schedule was kind of like hard. I would suggest my best advice would be to stick to a schedule. Even though sometimes you want to be like, have downtime, which I totally agree you should. Always stick to a schedule, take breaks, take mental breaks. If you want to like have a whole day to yourself, that's okay too. Like, but just make sure like you have your deadlines down. Take time for yourself. Mental health is key, and also if you're gonna have remote classes that are going to be pre-recorded. Also, like don't try to bunch them up in one day. Like try to have some like gaps in between so you can actually like like intake the material and kind of actually learn. Because I've tried it before. Trust me, I thought it was easy. It's easy to like say, oh, I'll just do it in one day, but it gets pretty hectic to be in the computer and watching the lectures. So yeah, like take time for yourself, and yeah, just make sure that you check your email like constantly throughout the day just for any updates from your professors, and reach out to your professors as well and TAs, because they're very understanding for the most part. So yeah, just keep in contact. Like communication right now, I believe, is like the best thing you can do with your school, and even with your family members too. Like if you need space time for yourself, and if you're at home and you're um like experiencing like your siblings or whoever like are kind of like want to spend time with you, just it's okay to be like, leave me alone, like I want to be doing my homework or have time for myself. Like I definitely emphasize mental health. So yeah, that's my advice for that.
I would say for me that the remote quarter was actually very tough. Like it was a lot harder than I thought it'd be, just because I kind of like thought that maybe since everything was online and that I would actually be at home and not at college, that I'd have, more time to get all of my, work done and stuff. But the days go by really fast and they start to blend together, which I'm pretty sure like a lot of people understand. But one thing that I really want to stress is that the school is still here for you. The school is still here for you. The advisors are still here for you. Your professors, your TAs, they're all still here for you. And they're all adjusting to the system as well. But a lot of the resources on campus are still open. They're still available. And it may not seem like it's easy to reach out, but it really is. Like if you go to their websites, it's easy to schedule appointments. They all are still really encouraging that students take advantage of the resource that we have and the help that we can give. And that was something that I definitely did not do last spring quarter. I kind of just like detached from everything just because I was home. I wasn't seeing anybody in person at all. Like I was just in my house, so it was really easy to kind of just to withdraw and just like do my own work, and that was it. But so I would just really recommend that you try to stay as involved as you can, and I don't know, like try to keep like some sense of normalcy to like your schedule, to your day. One thing that I try to do now is I try to actually get up and, like get dressed, brush my hair. Many Mars said this before about like, putting on makeup and stuff, like just something that makes you happy. So yeah, just definitely just don't forget that there's so many people out here who are still here for you and are like, they're there to help you along like with this quarter. So yeah, just don't be afraid to reach out.
So in terms of what it looks like being remote, so a lot of lectures are pre-recorded, so you won't have to go to live ones as often as you would have, if it wasn't remote. But there are still some live lectures, so make sure you read your course syllabus really carefully to make sure you don't miss any lectures thinking everything's pre-recorded. It's not. Also, make sure you understand that when lectures start coming out, it won't exactly, not for everyone at least, it's not always going to be released the day and the time that you signed up for that course. I went in assuming that lectures are going to be released if it's pre-recorded like on the same time that I would have had to like arrive to class basically if it was in person. But sometimes like the lecture can be delayed, like being sent out. Like sometimes I had to wait like a week or a little over a week sometimes, because we have to always remember, professors and instructors and faculty even, like they are also using Zoom, a lot of them for the first time. And I think a lot of students actually got really frustrated and angry. I got a little frustrated, I'm like, I'm like waiting so long, but you have to always remember, like, they have their own lives, like COVID and like the protests and everything going on in the world right now is also affecting them and their families and who they know too. And just the fact that they have to plan this like whole schedule out for us, like right near the end of the quarter before our spring quarter started, but they still made it work for us, which is very kind. And like all the professors and TAs that I've worked with so far last quarter, they were so understanding and kind. Like they would make a survey asking like, when's the best like time, like what time zone are you in right now? Like where are you living? So that they could try and make a discussion time that works best for everyone, no matter where you're at right now, no matter what your Wi-Fi condition is. Also, a lot of them told us, like, emphasize a lot of times, like if you're having a problem or like you think something in your life is happening right now that will affect the time or date that you have to take the midterm or even take the final, like please reach out to us, let us know, because they understand. Like a lot of them know, we're not machines. We have our own mental health. We have our own families to take care of during this time. That's why we're all going remote, because it's such a serious situation. So yeah, definitely make sure you reach out to your professors, reach out to your TAs. I can't emphasize this enough because a lot of students have kind of like, I can see they've become a little lax last quarter during this time, because they're like, I don't need to go to discussion, I don't need to talk to professors. But if you're thinking about going to graduate school, or even if you're not thinking about it right now, you just never know, like you might change your mind, and then you're going to need like at least 3 letters of recommendations, or like 2, or for the most part, so you're going to have to get from somebody. So make sure you talk to your professors, talk to your TAs. It's really not hard. Like they're just so sweet and understanding. Yeah, they'll remember you for sure, because they're gonna remember you as like the student who actually like reached out and like try to communicate with them during this time. Like it really makes a difference to them. Like professors and instructors are like, humans too, so they're gonna remember the students who tried really hard, and it's just really uplifting talking to them. They're just so smart, they're so good in their field, they're so good at what they do. It's just really enlightening. It makes you think like, I should try harder. I should try more. Like they're just really good at their field, so make sure you talk to them.
Really quickly before, sorry, Olivia, you want to go ahead? Okay, I just want to emphasize with everything going on like outside of academia, prioritize like not bombarding yourself with stimuli. Like turn off your phone, turn off the news. It can get very overwhelming very fast. Since all the way back in March, the news has been just wow. Wow is to say the least. And if you want to like stay informed, please stay informed. But if it's taking a toll on how you are, like please take a step back and make sure that you're okay. Like we can only do so much for everyone, and because if we're not good, then like how can we help everyone else? So turn off the news, turn off the phone, go off of Twitter for just a second, and just be okay with yourself. And if you are wanting to stay informed, please pick reliable sources. I'm telling, it's so hard to find reliable sources, but like putting in the effort to find good information is worth it, because then it's not sounding like gossip. Because sometimes when you hear, I heard this, it's like, well, what's the truth? So stay informed, but be cautious and take breaks from all the news.
I just have one more thing to add. Like, since we're doing the remote learning and we're having like overwhelming information online or on campus or on email, so if we like miss one information, we will probably like have no idea about an assignment or have no idea about our exam time. So please have a to-do list and keep track of all keep track of our deadlines, so like we won't like miss any assignments or miss any deadlines. So we really should to take a note to remind ourselves, and also don't procrastinate.
Thank you so much for all your advice. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, don't procrastinate because they'll come bite you back in the butt later on. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know if I can say that, but yeah. For I'll move to the next question. For our PAAs who dorm or live near UCI, how did you commute around campus? What were the advantages and disadvantages? So like I mentioned before, I definitely suggest that everyone becomes like familiar with the UCI campus, and I think they mentioned Finder at the beginning. Yeah, so that's one of the things that's really like useful when you want to find anything on campus, and it kind of like directs you, where to go. And yeah, that's my suggestion. Does anyone have anything else to add?
So if you live around campus, like still with like UC housing or even like the apartments that surround UCI, there's something called the Anteater Express, which is a bus system that we have. It's free for all students because you already kind of like pay for it through your tuition and stuff, or yeah, just through all that cost. But so yeah, that's definitely a resource that I utilized a lot to get to campus from where I was living, just because it has lines that go all around the UC, that little UCI area. And it's kind of nice just because if I didn't use the bus, I would have had to walk to school, which I sometimes still did, but it's a 15 to 20 minute walk. So if you want to get to class on time, the bus is definitely a really good resource to use. And it will be functioning during the fall quarter, so you'll definitely be able to use it if you are still going to be in the UCI area.
Also adding, oh, sorry, Christine. Also adding on to like the buses and the Anteater Express, like you don't have to pay to get on them. You could just hop on. You don't even have to show your ID or anything, because that's what I thought at first, and that's why I wouldn't even go near them. I would just walk by and like go back to wherever I needed to go. But no, you could literally just hop on and just go with your backpack and then go to school. Also, I do want to recommend the Rider app. So it's RIDER. So you could get that and then just enroll with UCI, and then it'll show you all the bus times, so you don't have to wait like too long or like miss a bus, and then you could just know where and when your stop would be passed by as well. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna mention the Rider app too. I would especially really recommend students use that app, especially if we have like a night class and we end up going back to campus. I hope we come back to campus, because during the night I realized that at least for the bus line I was taking, there's like, I think, I'm not sure, don't quote me on it, but I think there were less buses during the night for mine at least, and like they took way longer. That for sure I knew. Sometimes I had to wait like 20 minutes for a bus, or like maybe even longer. There were like delays and like traffic, because the bus line I was taking, it was like near the center. Like there's like a bridge you cross over from UCI, and there's like a whole little center with like food and good stuff. So a lot of people go there to hang out, like drive there. So yeah, there's traffic near that area. Yeah, so a lot of students are like, I don't know, the bus is coming. Like, do you think the bus is coming? Do you think like they stopped doing it or something? And you could just have your phone and be like, I know when it's coming, exact date and exact time. So you don't have to be anxious about anything during that night, because I was anxious a lot before that app. Yeah. I feel like I was supposed to say something else. Oh yeah. Also, if you're not sure if a line is going to come that day, or if it's scheduled like for that hour, your Rider app should also let you know. Like if you don't see a line around that area, it probably means like they're not in service right now. So that's also really useful, so you don't have to go on their website all the time and keep looking at the schedule.
Since I haven't really heard anyone talk about commuting from home to campus, I'll just pitch in again. So I think it's obvious that I commute from home. Advantage, I am not paying for rent. I'm not paying like hundreds of dollars to stay at a dorm or at an apartment, and I got food access 24/7. So I'm happy with my refrigerator. The disadvantage though, distance driving. It's like commuting back and forth. You have to be wary of the traffic, and traveling back and forth gets exhausting at some point. Like going from home to school, back to home to school. And if you have a job, oh my gosh, that pressure, man, it's just bad. So compared to people who, live at a dorm, who have like a 5 to 10 minute walk, I have to go wait 30 minutes and like be wary of all like that could happen and show up early. So that's the biggest thing for me, at least. And then going to clubs at some point is going to be like a burden, because at 6 p.m. you're already tired from driving all day and you want to just go home and sleep. But honestly, the club is worth it. It is worth it. You get social interaction, you go to social activities, and you make friends and connections, and it's great for making memories. I'd say it's worth it. The drive, the gas is worth it. If you do bring a car, I can't say from my perspective, just because I haven't driven to UCI because my mom has the car. I don't have the car. But again, be wary of traffic. You're going to have to work around your schedule with that. And also pricing. I feel like someone can talk more about the pricing, but it's hefty.
I want to chime in that I'm a transfer and I'm a commuter. So I live at home, and like Waylon, like, you know, you get the home benefits, you know, food and everything and housing. But yeah, like my thing on commuting from home to UCI would be traffic and like your classes and getting involved. It kind of just, you have to be very mindful of the time. Like if you have a job outside of UCI and you have school, like you also have to be very like mindful of the time that you're in at work and at school. Because sometimes when you're working for like 5 or 6 hours and then you have to go to school, and then it's really daunting because you're retired. And for me, honestly, like I preferred going to work first and then school, so that way after I'm done with school, I'm gonna go to work. You know, that's my preference. But it kind of stressed me out, to be honest. Like I wasn't doing it very very like smart when I was doing it. But honestly, like I like commuting. Like honestly, I like being home, but I also like being at school sometimes. And I go home at the end of the day when there's no traffic, like past 8 o'clock. I spend my time in the library or something. But yeah, like if you're trying to get a job outside of UCI, like always like think about the time that it takes you to go to school and then walk to your class, because that's like a lot of time sometimes. And also the pricing for the parking is like really expensive. Every quarter you have to pay like, you know, a lot of money. And I drive myself there, so like I know how it is to get your parking spot and find a parking spot sometimes, and like walk yourself to class, and then after that walk back home, like walk to your car, go home. And then yeah, it's kind of tiring sometimes, but it's all worth it, to be honest. At the end of the day, I do it and I feel like you know, it's just another day that I have to get by. And yeah, that's my experience with commuting, but it's good, you know. I wouldn't change it.
Just to say something really quickly, hopefully it'll spark some questions or conversation. But if you do take the Anteater Express, or if you ever want to just be social and go out with friends, definitely check out Diamond Jamboree. It is the best place ever at Irvine. It is great. They have H Mart. We got Somi Somi, which is like a taiyaki, like a custard fish type of ice cream stuff. We got Lollipop. We got a karaoke room. We got an escape room. We've got a bunch of stuff that you can totally hang out. Please go there, other than Disneyland. But then again, Disneyland's really expensive.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else to add? We can move on to the next question. Okay, so it says here, how can students get involved in research? Are any of our PAAs involved in research that would like to share any insight?
So I was involved in research this past year, which was my 4th year. It was like a year-long research series. So it was like so I took it in fall, winter, and spring. In the fall, it was mainly just like guest speakers and getting to know like people's experiences conducting their own projects, learning about research ethics, like the process to like, you know, with IRB and like the institutional review board and like submitting your application for that. Then winter quarter, we were assigned to a mentor. So it was like, for me, I was assigned to a professor in the Chicano Latino department and in the program in public health. So I was able to learn with her and work with her in her project, which was called the Flow No Lead Free Anti-Soil Lead Project based in Santa Ana. So they kind of look at like they kind of analyze like lead samples in Santa Ana to see like where lead exposure can be coming from and like how the risk it imposes on the health of the community. So I was able to like clean data, like analyze like the resources and like provide journals and stuff. So it was a very nice experience to learn from the professor, you know, one-on-one, have those meetings with her. She knew me on a more personal level, and like I learned from her so much that I still wanted to, you know, I asked her to be my mentor for this upcoming year as well. So I'll be part of the public health honors research program, and in that's also year long as well. So I'll be able to be conducting my own study, and then I'll be able to write my own honors thesis, meet with her regularly. So it's like an amazing opportunity to learn outside of the classroom and kind of investigate a little more about something that may interest you as well, especially since like UCI is a research university. So like a lot of your professors, your TAs, they're conducting research of some sort. So you're able to learn about what they're doing and then get inspired from them too. And honestly, I found out about this opportunity like through email. So like you could just keep checking those emails. They should be sending you that. I know there's a faculty profile system as well that you can use. That will probably post it on the link on the chat box. So you could put like you could research like professors and their research interests and like see which ones are more compatible with yours and who you would want to learn more from as well. Mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to chime in? I believe, was it Waylon? Do you want to go ahead and talk about Europe if you know anything about it?
I'm honestly not an expert, which I was like, hopefully someone will chip in. But I mean, Europe is like the best place you can look up research opportunities. And I mean, there's not like, oh, there's one for psychology or one for sociology. It's like, it depends on your interest and what you are interested in. Like, I think like there's a bunch of research about anything. Like, I think Manamar talked about the lead one, which I'm like, that is so cool. But there's also the faculty one where you can look up different professors and look at what type of research and what they're into. And honestly, the best advice I can give, because I actually had a friend who was able to get into a research thing in like 1 quarter, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how you can, oh my gosh. Honestly, best thing I can say to help you is, one, do your research. You're gonna get into research, so do your research. Look up the professor, find out what more of the project, maybe look into their works, so then you're able to talk more about it and talk and show that you're actually interested. And then, you know, hopefully the interview will go well and hopefully you get in. If you don't get in, it's okay. It is fine. You have a bunch of opportunities later on, but I definitely recommend look up Europe, look up the faculty profile system.
Thank you, Waylon. Oh, go ahead.
One last thing. So yeah, Layla basically said it very well. Yeah, if you're interested in research, no matter what type it is, I would just really say go to SARC again, because last year I was interested in finding research. I am not currently anymore, but I did go through the steps in the process, and I did do the interview and all that. So, and SARC was the one that helped me with it, how to draft email to address the professor, to ask for to meet for office hours, like talk about their lab results and stuff like that. But really, if you think about it, I think a lot of students have the idea that research is based on like major category, like, oh, political science research, or like psychology research, or like statistic research, or like sociology research, that kind of stuff. But that's not really how it goes. It's just very, very concentrated area of research. So I would say really start looking into those kind of things, like start browsing, kind of like shopping, you know, if you're not sure what kind of research you're interested in. But if you're interested in trying out some kind of research, you know, that's totally fine. Like you just need to like expose yourself to like the research that our professors have been doing or instructors have been doing like on campus, you know, because there's a ton. There's some stuff I've never heard of before in my life. So just use the faculty search that was linked in the chat below, because if you go there, it'll take you to a webpage that basically you just need to put in like the school of social sciences and then put in the subject you're interested in, like looking around like for the research topics, like say political science, type that in. And then all of these professors who have done research for UCI and like all of like the little concentrated topics that they've researched in will all just show up there. and their contact information is there too. So if their web page isn't linked on there for some reason, then just like search that professor up separately if you're interested in what they've researched. And sometimes they do have a web page like listing all of their works, and sometimes you could even read it like for free for some of them. So don't concern yourself with reading the whole thing. Like you should have gotten a PhD in everything if you can understand the whole thing. Like even the professors will tell you don't read the whole thing. Just read like the general basic of it, or just read like the abstract or like the conclusions and little parts that you can understand, and then go. That's a good way to ask a professor if you're interested. You know, like, hey, like I read this and there's something I didn't really quite understand, but it's so interesting. Would you have the time to meet up with me and discuss about it? And don't worry, professors know this like ritual practice situation. Like a lot of students have come by to ask them to join their lab in this way and form. It's just a really common practice. And even though it's common, it's like a respectful way to approach them. So they appreciate it on their end too, I'm sure. And it's a good way to respect yourself too, because you're figuring out if you're interested in that certain research or not before putting yourself out there and all your hard work and time into it. So go look it up, go search around. You know, it's okay if you're not sure what research you want yet.
Thank you, Christine. I would like to add something since this is a sociology, webinar. The opportunity of the honors program is sociology. So that's something also that's very like interesting for me because I'm doing it this year. And it's open to juniors and seniors. So the deadline, the application is usually at the end of the year. So I think right now it wouldn't be kind of applicable. But if you're thinking about doing the honors program and you don't want to like take the honors program will cover the sociology 180A seminar, which you have to take for your major for sociology. So if you do the honors program, you don't have to take the 180. It'll cover that. But you do have to take the prerequisite of sociology 120 methods and sociology 120 methods. No, 110 methods and 120 theory. So you have to take those and statistics. So sociology 10A, B, and C before you can apply to this program. I'm gonna go ahead and place the link on the chat so you can learn more information about it. But I'm doing it this year and I'm excited. You can you'll do your own research project as well, and you can you're also guided by a faculty member, and it's a whole year series. So you would have to do it for fall, winter, and spring. And there's different things that happen in each quarter. This is my first quarter doing it, and I'll see how that goes because it's remote. But if you guys want to know anything more about it, you guys can email me in the Society PA email to like, hey, Iris, or how is it going? Just insight on how it is remotely. Because I think it's going to be different. So yeah, I just want to mention that. I'm gonna put it in the chat if anybody wants to take a look. Does anybody have any else, like any research, any more research insight? No? Okay. Okay, so that concludes our questions on our end. We're gonna go ahead and look at the Q&A chat, see if we have any questions that we can answer. Okay, so we have a question. It says, I just got an email saying that Soc 151 was canceled for this fall. So I need to drop the course. Does this happen often? I'm pretty sure we have insight on this.
So you're definitely not alone. I also got that email, so that's so fun for us. I would say in my, since I'm entering my 4th year, I've never had this happen, but I know that since everything has become remote, that it's become more frequent. I had a farm sci friend who had classes changed for her as well. So I think it's more of just right now with the circumstances, that's why it's changing. Otherwise, I would not say this happens a lot because I've never had this happen to me personally. I don't know about my other PAs about classes being canceled. I feel like that's pretty out of the ordinary just because classes usually tend to fill up pretty fast. So in regards to, so I think the email, they said to drop the course. And so what that does to your units, you still want to make sure that you're at least 12 because you need to qualify as a full-time student. So like for me, I have to go drop the class and add one. Otherwise, I myself won't be a full-time student. So definitely like plan that out. And if you need any help, all of the emails that you have that have been linked in the chat, reach out to the maybe specifically the advisor who sent you the enrollment, your enrollment suggestions, just in case you have like more questions. Because I haven't looked at the scheduled classes yet, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm really sorry that happened to you because it's kind of annoying. So sorry about that.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. I'm pretty sure that's like the intake we have on that question so far. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. It says, is it okay if we're not interested in doing research? Is it more just for students that want to go to grad school, or should all students participate in it? I'm gonna go ahead and just put my 2 cents in here. Honestly, like I don't like research also. Like it was like something iffy because I didn't understand it. I was just like, I thought it was too complex, and I was like, that's not for me. Like initially I was like, no, I was like avoiding research, even though we have to take a research methods course, like it's mandatory. Like I was like, no, I don't like it. It's so tedious and time consuming, and it's like, it's really bad. But I honestly, if you want to go to grad school, of course, research is like the go-to thing. You have to, it's recommended. Like it looks really, really well for you to have some research experience. And we are a research institution, so I mean, take advantage of it. Like we have so many professors conducting research, so it's really awesome. You're gonna transfer out knowing already, like, oh yeah, I know that, stats, I know surveys, everything, collection, and everything. So it's awesome to have that skill to know how to do research, understand research, and all that good stuff. Also, I would say for research, so yeah, if you have something of interest, I'm pretty sure you're gonna find it along the way once you take your courses. You're gonna find like interesting topics that you're gonna want to research about. So I'm pretty sure that when you take more courses, it's gonna pop up and you're gonna be like, oh, I want to know more, and that's how you get involved in research and you kind of link it to other professors. So for me, like at first I didn't want to. I was like really like adamant to do research, but now I'm like so involved and I want to like learn more and like how can I help the community by researching a topic that can be brought into more light, like that kind of sense, like having that kind of like mindfulness for it. Yeah.
I don't know if it's just for me because I'm not a sociology major, I'm a psychology major. And saying that, like, I know we're a research school, UCI is known for its research, but research is not mandatory. You don't have to do it. I mean, it looks great on your resume and for recommendation letters, but I mean, you don't need it, like, for sure. At least that from what I know. I'm not doing research. Honestly, I'm already busy enough as it is. I honestly don't have space or time or honestly motivation at this point because I'm so invested in my classes and my now part-time job and other stuff. So I don't think you need it. Again, it looks good, but I don't think it's like mandatory. It's just up to you if you want to.
I just want to ask something real quick. If you're interested in any of the honors programs, they will probably most of them require you to do some sort of research and a thesis. So just keep that in mind if research is not something that you necessarily really want to do.
Yeah, I just wanted to like emphasize as well, like you're not forced to do it. It's just we're just offering it as an opportunity, like an advantage of being at a research institution. So if you're interested, you could definitely do that. If you're not, I'm sure you'll find other positions on campus that definitely appeal more to you. Whether that's engaging with people, working in health, being a peer academic advisor. There's just so many stuff to do on campus. It's just kind of a suggestion in case you're interested in. There's a lot of other ways to keep learning about material. Also, we all have different plans after we graduate. So definitely, if you're not thinking of grad school, if you're thinking of like another program that doesn't necessarily require research, that's totally fine too. You could definitely keep just join clubs, do stuff that you want to do, because this is your undergraduate experience, so make the most of it however you want to. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Don't think you have to do something. Like, it's just about you and making the most out of it, whether these next 2-3 years at UCI.
So yeah, the very short answer is no, it is not mandatory. As Natima and Waylon and Sam, and Iris, all of them already said, it's not mandatory. We are a research institution, so it's really great if you want to take advantage of that. But for the most part, no, you do not require it. Two of the main reasons, at least personally, that I know that people want to do research is because for graduate school specifically, if you're going to a grad school that will award you a PhD, then yes, you should look into doing research, because they're probably going to look to see on your resume or in your coursework if you did some kind of research paper, some kind of research thesis, something like that. And they want to know that you're able to handle this kind of work. I'm not saying it's mandatory if you're interested in that route, because I haven't looked it up that deeply, but for sure, they definitely do prefer someone who, or looks for someone who has that. Also, the second reason why people want it is the letter of recommendations. So letter of recommendations are they aren't all the same. Some letter of recommendations can be very weak because if the professor or instructor or faculty or supervisor, whoever wrote that letter for you, doesn't know you very well, but they still agreed to write it for you, then it won't be as strong, because they don't really know you, but it's still a letter. But now if you're looking to get a really strong letter of recommendation to get into grad school or something, then they should know you very well, or at least to some degree. You could have conducted research with them. You could have took a class with them, or you could have kept up talking to them after knowing them, from the course that you're taking from them. A lot of people really prefer research to get their letters of recommendation just because you're working really closely with that professor, so they're definitely going to know your work ethic, your skill set, what you've learned from them. And obviously they're going to see how diligent and how motivated you were during that time that they spent with you. So yeah, they're going to know what to write about for you, and you're going to be talking about your goals and everything, and they're going to write it all for you because we have great professors here. So that's why a lot of people want to get into research. And also, even if you're not interested in graduate school and you just want to get a good job after, or I don't know what you want, but if you just want to settle down or something, but you want a strong resume, then research is also very good for you because it shows that you have the communication, you can work with multiple people, you can work in a group setting, you have the writing skills, you have the speaking skills, you have the presenting skills. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort to be in research. Let me just tell you right now, I have not been in research, but from what my friends have told me, it takes a lot. So if you have done research with someone, for sure, brag about it on your resume because it's really strong.
I would like to also add, because this is also it pertains to sociology, maybe other majors too, but in sociology, you will be exposed to a lot of research, in your courses. In for example, methods and theories, they talk about research and how to do research. Even in your writing courses, I remember in my first upper division writing course, I did a research paper, and that was my first time. So even regardless, you'll be exposed to research in your courses, especially for sociology, because it's stats, it's everything, how to understand the literature that you're reading. So it's kind of it's embedded in the curriculum. So yeah, you don't have to do research like all my fellow PAs mentioned, but either way, you'll be exposed, and then you can decide from there if that's the right path to take or not.
Just to kind of touch on what Iris just said, I took in the remote spring quarter, I took the sociology major seminar, which was very interesting. Doing that remote because it's a 3-hour seminar on Zoom. So, but I will say, Iris just said, that you will be exposed to research. Research methods is you basically do a research paper. It's very structured, and they help you through it. 180A is similar, but it's more about you pick. So it's essentially a research project smashed into 10 weeks really fast. And it's really great. Actually, I really enjoyed it because there was the deadlines coming up made me stay on top of my game. I especially with the remote quarter, I tend to procrastinate. But I had Professor Penner. I don't know if that's like an option. I think it changes, but like he was great. I really like research, so I'm kind of like very biased about that class, but it was a great class. You really learn how to use, like how to like search for data and how to kind of like, I don't want to say formalize like the things you learned in other classes, but like really apply it. And like you get to pick your research topic. I talked about family size and educational attainment. So you really get to pick what you want to talk about. And I think that's great because there's a lot of opportunities for Europe, but this is like a little mini, tiny version of that. So if you want to get like a little taste, 180 is a great way to kind of like dip your toe into the water since it's mandatory. So you really have the choice. So you might as well make the most of it because it's a great class and extremely helpful and just writing in general. So I don't know if that's anyone's strong suit, but like I would say look forward to your 180 major seminar because it's really fun. So
I would like to quickly add something because I know all the students in this webinar are going to have to take 188 or the route on any other route in research. Ask for help. Like taking research methods can be kind of overwhelming because it's a lot of things you have to know, like steps and criteria and everything. Like ask for help with your TAs. Don't be afraid to ask, like thinking, oh, I'm asking them questions, because a lot of the students in my course that I took, even including myself, I was quite overwhelmed because of all the information and how to apply it. And I definitely suggest to just reach out and to your TAs and professor if you don't understand something, because trust me, you're not alone. A lot of the students in the courses usually are like, what is this? How do I do this? Go to office hours, go to your TAs, office hours, ask questions, be annoying. Like, I honestly, like, it'll get you by the course. It's 10 weeks. So imagine taking methods, and I don't know if it's the same curriculum or not, but you do a research papers and methods. You have to do so much in 10 weeks. So it gets very like, you want to cry, to be honest, like, even though it's just a course. But yeah, ask for help. Yeah, my advice. Does anybody else want to add anything else? No? Okay, so we have another question. It says, how can we meet with tutors online this fall? Do any of you guys know?
If you're asking specifically about like LARC, which is our Learning Academic Resource Center, they're still going to be holding sessions this upcoming quarter that'll be virtual. I don't really know anything else about the other tutoring like kind of services, but I definitely know that LARC will still be fully active, and they'll probably have registration probably like a week or two before fall quarter starts. I'm not exactly sure about that either, but I can drop the link to the website. So if that's one of the resources that you're interested in, you can definitely check that out.
I did want to mention the writing center as well. That could help you with like essays and papers or scholarship apps. I'll put the link as well just so you can have access to it. But you could honestly just make appointments with them through Zoom, and then it's totally free for UCI students. So you could just meet with them and they'll give you really good feedback about your papers before you submit as well.
In terms of the writing center, it's really popular. I don't know how the appointment schedule, like how packed it's been since we've gone remote. But I know when we were in person, like I was in a writing course like long time ago. And someone was like, oh, you used to writing center. But so basically we were all like, all the students in that writing course with me, we were like, okay, we should probably sign up for that. So we were like looking on our little library computers because for some reason, like our instructor took us to the library to like look through some stuff. And then basically like, it was just so all the other writing courses or like other people, a lot of other courses that aren't even writing, like they have essays and they have papers too. So if everyone's deadlines is approaching near the same time, especially even if you're just in like one course, like it's already gonna make the writing center schedule packed. It is pretty popular, so in my opinion. So I would say just make sure if you want a spot, if you know a deadline is coming soon for your paper or you want your paper checked before a certain date, then just make sure you schedule it as soon as possible. You might think it's like too early or something, but it's never too early to make your appointment. Like I'm so glad, like when I look back in my life, when I was like that one girl in class that like had a schedule for like a TA or something, and then like when a midterm is coming, like it's all full. So yeah, be that one person in your course that's like way out there, and you'll get your paper checked.
I would also say, definitely utilize your TAs and professors' office hours, because obviously they're not tutors, but they're there to help you with your work. So if you do have a question about, an assignment, or there's a specific problem you don't understand, you can definitely go to your TAs like office hours and just be like, hey, like I don't understand this problem or question. Could you please explain it or work on it with me together? Like they're definitely there to help you with your work. So that's definitely another resource to utilize.
And if you ever need help with your research papers, you can always ask the librarians, because they are there to help you, literally. Like, make an appointment with them because they know everything. They will help you with your research.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies. So ask us any more questions. We're here about UCI Live, eateries, Disneyland, because Waylon loves that. Ask us about anything. We're here. About professors. We have 10 more minutes. Even insight on professors that if you want, we can tell you the stuff that goes on in there in the course.
You can ask us like cool places to look around Irvine. If you have a car, your friend has a car, when the Anteater Express is back on track, you know what I'm saying? Like you can ask us where to go. You can ask us about food, like I was already mentioning, like the eateries on campus, or if you just want to hit up like a good boba place. We have a lot of boba lovers on this campus and in this group, and I'm so proud. Yeah. Or some people even ask us, like, what's a good place to read on campus? And there's a lot of good places for that, too. Like, what can you do in Aldrich Park? And what are some events going on? Some people ask us about concerts and stuff like that, or events on campus. Yeah, you can ask us about, like, majoring, like, additional majors, additional minors.
I would like to mention like a professor in like the sociology courses. I would definitely suggest Dr. Schuster. She does like medical sociology, sociology of mental health. I took those both courses with her, and the one in social relationships, I think it was. And she's really great, like a great professor. She is very straightforward with her curriculum and everything. Her exams is pretty much reading and writing, like answering questions. I suggest her. Dr. Schuster is the best. That's my recommendation for sociology. I've taken her like 4 times, I think, already. And I'm sad that I don't have any more social classes to take because I really like her.
Yeah, Dr. Schuster is she's great. She's really fun. She's always matching like her suit she wears like colorful pantsuits, and then like her purse always matches. And she's always so like excited to talk about whatever the class is. I took her for so many things. Organizations. I had her for the Sociology 110, the research methods, and she made it fun because like it can get very dry and like reading heavy, and so she was very like active in trying to get everyone to like pay attention and participate and like engage in the class, which is important since like you needed to write the paper. So yeah, she's great. She's really nice. So if you go up and talk to her, you can talk to her about like her like research or like her like coursework, or you can even ask her about like how to get involved. She's very nice. Like I've asked her for like letters and stuff, and she's always willing to like accommodate and work with you. So yeah, she's a great one. This is kind of like counterproductive since he retired, but like if you like race and ethnicity, if that's something that interests you, even though it's not Professor O'Connell, I would say take those classes because the reading, it's a lot, but it's so fascinating. Like, oh my gosh. If you want to be well-read, take like sociology courses. I'm telling you, they like load you with reading, but all the reading is like so interesting. Like it's amazing. So don't be afraid of the reading. It might be a lot. Just plan it out. It's great. So yeah.
I love Dr. O'Connell. I know he retired. I took him for theories. And trust me, theories, everybody's so like, oh, like you have to take it because I think it's like so reading heavy. but he was so like amazing. Like Catherine said, he's a really good professor. He brings like the excitement in the course and the reading and everything. So I really miss that he's not there. He retired already. But I mean, yeah, like really look into good professors like Dr. Schuster. She's amazing. I really like the way she structures her course and how everything's so straightforward. There's no surprises, and you can study ahead of time. She gives you the study guide. Like even I think in the second or third week, she has everything prepared. A lot of reading though, like that's what social is, reading, a lot of reading and kind of like understanding the material and the research that's been done out there. So that's why like I honestly suggest everyone to get familiar with like the research process, and just like you'll get it in your courses. It's like it's embedded in the curriculum for sociology. But yeah.
Iris, I think we have another question. You're muted.
Sorry. Any recommendations for specific social courses you found interesting? For me, like I said, I mentioned, I really like the sociology of mental health and medical sociology. They kind of tie in together, but those courses kind of like open your eyes to like not just the medical side of things, like the like the medical side of mental health, more like the sociological way of how to look at it. And it really opens your eyes into like more topics, more questions. So it's like really, really amazing, that course, the sociology of mental health and medical social, which is also taught by Dr. Schuster. And I think she's teaching more courses like now that now in this academic year. So check her out and check out these courses.
One of my favorite classes, actually one of the classes that made me want to double, was the Dr. O'Connell class, was race and ethnicity. So highly recommend that class, whoever's teaching it. And then Sociology 62, which I took by Professor Mazumdar, and she was amazing. She is really soft-spoken, so like she really makes you listen for the information, which is really interesting because like, I don't know, I've had a lot of professors who are very loud and it's kind of like a lot, but like she is so nice. In the beginning of the class, she had everyone write like a little like essay about them. So that way she said, so I can get to know who I'm teaching. And oh my gosh, that's so nice. Anyways, that class is family and intimate relations, and like it's really theory heavy, but I really like theory. So like if that's something that you're not very like interested in, I would say still take it, just because it kind of gives you perspective on like even like the relationships you have with your family, and like it looks like across a bunch of cultures and different time periods, and how the family has evolved from like, it's really, you know what, it's really interesting. I'm really geeking out here. Sorry.
I'm sorry, is that a lower division course?
Yeah, 62.
Okay.
I don't know if like y'all need lower division, but seriously, if you need if you just need units, that's a great one. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Also,
Yeah.
I really like social classes, so I mean that's pretty biased of me. That's my major, so.
Also the same, because I took that course, but in community college, and I fell in love with it too, because it really does kind of like give you insight on the dynamics of family and relationships and everything. And I don't know, that's one of the courses that I really, really, really recommend too. Like one of your your lower division courses. Actually take it. It opens your eyes to a lot of things. And also I'm biased because I'm a social major in community college. So whoop whoop. So.
I'm not a social major, but I did take a social class, and Catherine reminded me because it was also taught by Professor Mazumdar. It was also lower division. It was like Social 43, City and Community, and I found it so interesting. Like the way she teaches, it was just very easy to understand, and the readings were interesting. And like that was during spring quarter, so like during like this summer, I think it was, and then I went to like LA, and then I was like telling my friends, I was like, oh my gosh, city and community, and like I was like really like applying what I learned from the class to like real world stuff, and like so yeah, that that was one that I really liked.
So we have 2 more minutes. Please drop your last minute questions. We'll gladly answer them. If not, we can answer any unanswered questions at our email. I'm gonna go ahead and provide that in the chat. Give me 1 second. Do any of the PAs have anything else to add? Just like a quick advice or something? No Disneyland today, Waylon.
I mean, I could do a Disney TED Talk for like the next 5 minutes if needed, but that's up to you guys.
Go ahead. We have like 1 more minute.
Okay, do you want me to talk about the Disney course or Disneyland? Because there's a
You can do
difference.
it. You can do the Disney course.
So this is just if you guys have time, if you have enough space and you just need credits to graduate. This is a fun class. It's a lot. It's called Art History 55, which is the Disneyland course. It's pretty hard to get into, but if you have time, I definitely recommend it. It's such a great course. It's fascinating. I will warn you, it's heavy. Like, there's a lot of reading. There's assignments, I think 3 mini papers, but they're not even real papers. They're like little analysis things that you just have to talk about a vlog, like how it represents Disneyland, what else? The Matterhorn, so on and so forth. You're looking at patents, how rides operate, the mechanics behind the ride, the theming, so on and so forth. If you really love Disneyland, I definitely recommend it. Again, it's heavy, but if you're like fascinated with Disneyland, the readings are like so interesting. I'm a Disney nerd, so like everything that I'm reading in that class, like I'm just motivated to just do anything. For the final project, we have to design our own ride, and I was making it an Aladdin ride the entire time, and it was great. So I definitely recommend it. The professor is super, super into it as well. He's so devoted. So again, if you have time and there's space, I definitely recommend it. It's so much fun. It was like the best class, I'm gonna be honest, I've taken at UCI. It was so great.
Thank you, Waylon. So that concludes our Q&A session. I want to thank all of you for being here today and for listening to us and sending your beautiful questions to us as well. Yeah, so we're here if you need anything here or in the email. We answer emails also. Please email us with questions about courses, sociology, because I love sociology. Yeah, so have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys. Thank you for coming.
Good luck with your first quarter. You'll do awesome.